man is from Harlem, New York. How are you feeling, sir?
I'm wonderful, man. You know I'm wonderful. I can't complain. We gotta, we from the project. So when Mom said you can't get that hamburger, you better go over and get that Wonder Bread, and that's what we did. We did what we got. So we can't complain. We all in the same situation. So I'm never complaining.
You work with what you have. Now, full disclosure, I want to give full disclosure before I get into this interview. This is Teddy Riley. This man is a legend. And I'm going to say something, and it's full disclosure. Without Teddy Riley, there is no Fat Man Scoop, period. Teddy Riley, Dougie Fresh, DJ Chillwell, DJ Cool, all people that if they were, and Puff Daddy, if they were not in my life, there would be no Fat Man Scoop. So first of all, I want to thank you for just doing what you did at the time to get me to where I am today. And I love you for that.
I appreciate you as well, man. It always, it's a combination. If Fat Man Scoop not there, it wasn't on for that day. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't funny. It wasn't happy, like the spirit, and that's what you bought, especially with the scope.
Yep.
He had the scope every day. He used to drink the scope. I was like, whoa.
Yep. You know something? People who really know me for back in the days carrying a bottle of scope. I used to carry a bottle of scope everywhere that I would go, and I would drink the scope and spit it out. And
before you talk to anybody?
Before I talk to anybody. Like, Scope owes me a big check.
Yeah, it's like, how the guys, the baseball players take the snuff? That's what the scope was to you.
100%. 100%. Let's start from the beginning, okay?
Sure.
Where did you get the skills, just the keyboard and the musical skills? Where did that come from?
The musical skills came from my Uncle Willie and my dad buying the instruments, and all I did was picked it up. I picked it up, and then I just wanted to do something with it and be constructive. Now, what I did first wasn't play. I didn't play it. I took it apart. I was a constructive kid. I took the keyboard. I took my mother's record player apart because I wanted to see what makes the sound, what makes it bring the sound out. And when I realized it was nothing but wires and transistors and things that transferred the sound from one way to another to the needle.
Okay, because you know something. I always used to try to figure out what kind of equipment was in your house. Teddy was older than me, and I used to hang out with his brother Markel and Markel's friend Akil and his other friend named Brandon, and they actually became, because of Teddy, Rex and Effect. And every day when we would be outside, Teddy used to live on the first floor in a building called 225 in St. Nick's Projects in Harlem. And every day you used to hear music coming out of that window. And we'd be like, oh, that's dope, that's fire. We didn't even know what you were even doing then. And you just had I never knew what kind of equipment you had in there. What kind of equipment did you have in there?
Man, let me tell you, you remember, I know you remember the jukebox. Because I used to have the home jukebox, and the home jukebox was just furniture, and it was the keyboard stand because I ain't had nowhere to put my keyboards on, and we couldn't afford the stand. So we just let's just put the keyboards. Let's set it up with the 4-track. You remember we had the 4-track TAC?
Yep, I remember that.
The 4-track TAC reel to reel was on in back of that, and I didn't have a mixing board, so we mixed everything through the doggone 4-track. And when we did that, we started making songs until we could afford the 12-track Akai. So in the house, I only had one keyboard, and I didn't have a drum machine. And when I met Dougie, he kind of gave me that way to make my drums come out. And I just say, you know what? The biggest sound for me wasn't, I didn't have the bass in my human beatbox. So what I did was I took the microphone. I had a 57. And I took the 57, which is the skinny Shure mic, and put it through the hole of a toilet tissue thing, and that was my. So it helped me when I hit it with my hand and do it with my mouth. And that's how I got the bass drum to be huge, was through the toilet tissue.
Yeah, basically that's ghetto innovation. Ghetto innovation.
Ghetto innovation. That's exactly what it is, man. And I'm just so happy we were able to follow our parents, you know, remedy. We couldn't afford certain things, so what we did was we made the best out of what we had. 100%. I had the vocal booth with the bathroom, remember?
Yep, I remember. Listen, I remember all that. Yep, I remember all that. I came in the house. I came in the house with Markel many times and saw that. You had swag, and what we call swag now, before we even knew what it was. I would say yourself, Alpo, Rich Porter, Kev Childs, and people like yourself kind of built and were responsible for the style in Harlem that kind of lives on today with all the rappers and stuff like that. Explain Harlem. Explain Harlem back then for people who just don't understand it. You know, they watch the movie Paid in Full, but they don't really understand.
They don't know
what it was.
We went to school with them. You know, I went to school with them. So I call them my heroes. I call them my big homies, and that's Kevin Child, Rich Porter.
Yep, Rich Porter.
Alpo, but it was more so Rich Porter because we went to Martin Luther King. Okay. And then remember Sherm?
I remember I was younger than you. I watched
those were my big homies. D Ferg, Slick Rick.
Hold on, let me stop you. Let me stop you. People that don't know who D Ferg is, D Ferg was a big guy uptown with design and stuff, and you might know his son. His son is ASAP Ferg.
That's right. That's the nephew. So, and D Ferg used to, matter of fact, if you knew us back in the day and you've seen us with Jeeps or Pathfinders, because that was like our thing. We loved Jeeps and Pathfinders because we had the big wheel in the back, and the big wheel was covered. And guess what? We had like Guy on the back of it, and it was designed by Dow Ferguson.
That's right. And people, I want you to understand something so that you know. Teddy Riley used to have this cabriolet. I think it might have been white, and I think Puff had a red one. Back in that time, like Harlem was really swagged out. People would be leaning in the back of their cars, and I never forget. We just used to look at Teddy drive by because at that time you were making music, you had a little bit of money, you were doing your thing, and you were balling out. What was the biggest purchase that you had made at the time? Because I remember when Guy came out and I was signed to GR Productions, which we'll get to later. You had a denim jacket, and back in the days, the denim jacket used to have rhinestones on it. But you were balling out so hard, you put diamonds on the back of the jean jacket.
Yo,
and
check this out.
I couldn't believe that.
D Ferg did the jacket. So I had two people. I had D Ferg do the art, and then we sent it to my guy. Oh my God, where was the jeweler? The jeweler Uptown 3000. 3000 up in. I know who you're talking about. We confusing people, but I know who you're talking about. My dude G and Boy George brother. Yes. Boy George from Queens, the real Boy George.
Right, the real Boy George. With some people, we're talking about some real New York City stuff, but
street. Yeah, it's all the street. So I used to go up there and I used to help, work, and they made all my jewelry. They made, remember the guy ring and the chain that said Guy. They made that along with my guy who did it, and he did it in diamonds. They did the one that was just the gold that you see on the album.
Right.
And when they did that, I used to hang up there every day. They did my jacket. So, but I lost the jacket. And I used to always keep my jewelry there because I didn't want to keep it in the project.
Right.
And then when they got busted.
Fat Man Scoop.